Hey, I'm Gaio, the chivalrous chauvinist. Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. Sucias are my favorite. Today I'm going to talk about non-monogamy, and I'll use my own relationships as an example. So today I'm going to share with you 6 non-monogamy mistakes to avoid, like I just been making. So when I first started dating my wife, we kind of just fell into a couple of threesomes. We didn't have a conversation about it because, threesomes usually happen organically. They just kind of happen on their own. You can rarely plan for one unless you have a throuple or a person that's interested or some type of internet setup type thing. But for the most part, threesomes work best if they're just organic. They just kind of happen. So anyways, because they just happened, we didn't have a conversation about them. And eventually, my wife, while she was still my girlfriend, wanted to have a conversation about how we're going to proceed with it. And that's how we fleshed out what we wanted. So a mistake to avoid is to not communicate honestly and openly. You see, a thing that bothered my wife before we were married is she thought I only cared about her or wanted to be with her because she was bi. Later, she realized that I didn't really need her to have threesomes. But the point was, she didn't know, she didn't communicate that with me. So there was a little bit of resentment for a while because it was the early stages of our dating and we didn't have conversations every night just because of our work schedules. Eventually, we had an open and honest conversation about it. The next mistake you want to avoid when wanting to have a non-monogamous relationship is not setting boundaries and rules. It's important to set clear, non-fungible boundaries. Essentially, that there's no wiggle room to, well, you didn't say this, so that's why I did it, because you didn't say I couldn't do that, or you didn't specifically say that kissing was not allowed, or whatever. Don't try to make excuses or come up with ways to cheat without cheating. If something comes up, have that conversation. And this ties in with being open and honest, because if you're not honest about the boundaries and rules that you want, then you can't come back later and call foul or cry foul. What'd you say? Cry about it, complain about it, if you never made the rule. It's also kind of important when you're defining what is and isn't cheating, because that's essentially what you're trying to do, is define what's okay and not okay within the boundaries of your own relationship. And it's important to respect each other's boundaries. Maybe she's okay with kissing other guys, but she's not okay with you kissing other girls, or vice versa. Another mistake to avoid is not practicing safe sex. Now, safe sex is always important whether you're in a monogamous or non-monogamous relationship, but having multiple sex partners can increase the risk of sexually transmitted diseases or infections. I always forget everything's changing. I'm used to VD, but whatever. And proper protection and testing is important. Also, you don't want someone to end up accidentally pregnant when you're with another partner. Kind of would suck to be stuck paying child support for a one-night stand and losing your primary relationship because of that. Because, they don't want to lose out on 20% of your salary or whatever. But that's just kind of a basic idea. Basic example. There we go. Not checking in with your partner or partners regularly is a huge mistake, because trying to juggle multiple partners, quote unquote. No, not quote unquote. Trying to, juggle multiple partners, you still have to give them each the attention you would as if you were in a monogamous relationship with just one other person. You can't go radio silent all week and then expect them to be ready at 7 p.m. and meet you wherever you want to go out to eat or hang out or have sex just because you showed up or called them 30 minutes earlier. You have to maintain those lines of communication throughout the week, talking about their day, how they're doing, what their goals are. If they had any bad days or had bad moments, if they had any nightmares or dreams that it came up, having conversations with them as though they were individuals. And of course, life gets in the way. So non-monogamy isn't for everyone. Another mistake you want to avoid when trying to practice non-monogamy is comparing your relationship to others. And I hate to talk about this, but Jesus, the show Sister Wives. So I don't watch it with any regularity, but someone I talk to a lot watches it a lot and is actually rewatching the entire series right now in preparation for the next season. Yeah, watching all the previous seasons to be ready for this current season. And when I visit them, I kind of see what's going on because that's all they really watch. Apparently, they're all cut up on their crime documentaries or murder documentaries, serial killer documentaries. Anyways, but apparently, the main family has friends that are also polygamists, and supposedly, according to her, you can see where the relationship that we're watching on TV, the series or the show that we're watching, or they're watching, the show that you can watch, you can see where that relationship starts to fall apart because he sees how another polygamous relationship is and tries to emulate that. But that's not within his character. That's not kind of who he is. So essentially, the showrunner's husband sees how another husband has his wives has his the showrunner sees how a friend runs his household, and it's not dictatorish, but it is very organized and very kind of military-esque, where the wives wake up at a certain time and each day of the week they're kind of assigned to what's going to happen, who's going to take care of the kids, who's going to do that. Whereas the showrunner, one mom is just kind of like the mom, everyone's mom, and they don't like cooking all together in one kitchen, so they all have their own individual houses, but it's just kind of disorganized. And the showrunner husband wants his relationship to be like the other one because he thinks or sees that that's a better relationship, not realizing how happy and how good he had it. So anyways, and that's a good rule for life in general, comparing your life or your relationship or what you have to others. You'll end up coveting what you don't have and then resenting what you do have instead of enjoying it. The last mistake in this series to avoid in a non-monogamous relationship is not knowing what you want from non-monogamy. Talk to other people in non-monogamous relationships, polys, swingers. If you can't find anyone to talk to, which there are forums, there are online resources on the subject in general, to kind of get a picture of what it is, which each different type of non-monogamous relationship is like. Because non-monogamy isn't all about sex. In other words, you're not going to be getting more sex. You're not going to get more frequent sex, you'll just get different sex because your partners are different. So, to wrap it all up, 6 non-monogamy mistakes to avoid is not communicating with your partner openly and honestly, not setting rules and boundaries that are clear to both partners, not practicing safe sex, not checking in with your partners regularly, comparing your relationship to others, and not knowing what it is you want out of non-monogamy. I'm Gallo. I love you. You are worthy of it. Till next time, vessels. Are there 6? I just wrote down 6, but did I write 6? This is the first one I recorded, so hopefully the next 2 are better. Maybe. So what I want to talk about today is the scroll. Might help so I can read.